Many people may not be aware that they could have a vernal pool in their own backyard. This is one of the reasons why University of Maine professor Aram Calhoun is working on a project to map out the vernal pools in the town of Vernal. This is also raising awareness to this protected resource. The project is now working with 10 communities, with a request to gain partnerships with 8 more towns. The mapping project began in 2003. Some towns simply are not interested in working with Professor Calhoun's project.
We've invited other towns on board, and some of them had said no. And it's all a matter of educating the towns as to what we're trying to do. But a lot of landowners were afraid that if they got their pools mapped, they would suddenly become regulated, not understanding that they're regulated regardless of whether or not they're mapped.
Maine state regulations require a permit if a landowner wants to develop within 250 feet of a significant vernal pool. These vernal pool regulations were passed in 2007. There's a specific number of amphibian egg masses that makes a vernal pool significant.
It's a political definition, not an ecological one, so when I say really significant, I mean by the law, not by the ecology. But the law says 40 wood frog egg masses or more. There are 20 for spotted salamanders and 10 for blue spotted salamanders, and just the presence of fairy shrimp.
The mapping process begins with providing a public training session with the town residents. The next step is to acquire aerial photography.
We needed to get a general idea of where the vernal pools might be. And to do that, we contracted with the Sewell Company in Old Town to do some aerial photography for us using infrared technology.
The next step is to begin educating local volunteers on what to look for in a significant vernal pool. It will take a year of planning before Professor Calhoun can actually begin working at the vernal pool sites. The program will run 2 to 3 years after initial mapping. Many vernal pools are not meeting the state's political definitions of significant.
No, unfortunately, from an ecological perspective, the numbers are coming way in of what we predicted. The state had predicted that roughly half of vernal pools would be significant under these criteria, but it's looking like numbers are much lower, late 20s, early 30s.
Falmouth has begun looking at creating its own regulations for vernal pools that the town decides are special but not significant. Many of the towns participating are interested in knowing what resources they have and making sure not to be caught by surprise with regulations. The mapping program is doing a lot to educate the public.
Helping to dispel some misconceptions about what the regulation means. A lot of landowners thought it meant 250 feet around a pool, no development, no discussion, and they were shocked to find out that it just meant you needed a permit to operate within the 250 feet. It wasn't a no-build zone. So I think, a good part of our work is helping landowners to understand the legislation and not be so scared of it, and to raise appreciation of the value of these pools.